It really started from my parents when they came here. They came here like many immigrants, didn't have much to start off with. Dad just had this thing about property and he started investing in property, and I was probably too young to really understand what was going on until later on in life, where you start talking to your parents a bit more and understanding what's happening. And it's always been around in my family, and it's really influenced what I think is a good asset class to invest in. And the passion really started from there. A lot of that knowledge was passed on from them, and I've continued to learn through reading and podcasts and so on now. And I run my own property advisory business and helping other people do things that I've enjoyed doing, and that's helped me and my family. So hopefully I can do the same for them.
Welcome to the Buyers Agent Institute show. The purpose of the show is to bring awareness to buyers agents, to bring awareness around the career opportunities that this sector is providing people, to bring awareness around the value that buyers agents are providing people who need help buying property. Our goal is to strip back and dive into the stories and the journeys of remarkable buyers agents who are paving the way forward in one of the fastest growing career sectors in real estate right now. Our guest today is Peter Toma. He's based in Sydney. He runs a buyer's agent business called Elite One Property that buys property Australia-wide, not just investment properties, but also primary residence here in Sydney. Peter's journey started back when he studied civil engineering at university, then went into construction, and then became an active property investor himself, accumulating a very successful portfolio. And now is very focused on his buyer's agent business to really give back and empower other people to follow similar philosophies and investment strategies that he has deployed on himself. Today I'd like to introduce Peter. Welcome, Peter.
Hi Ben, good to be here.
Thank you very much. I've been seeing you a lot on social, and you obviously came through the Institute, but I wanted to reach out to you because my background, I came from a construction background as well, went to university, didn't study engineering though. I didn't like engineering, that was part of my program that I was studying. And it seems like we've been on a similar style of journey that I got into investment as well. And I wanted to learn from you, where did you buy your first property?
I bought it in Sydney back in 2012. Bought the first one, obviously a good time, not knowing much back then. But the market's moved and get more equity and you keep purchasing and purchasing, and it's done really well for me over the last few years.
When you purchased back in 2012, did you know of buyers agents back then?
No.
Yeah. I was running my business, but I don't think many people still don't know what they are, but I was wondering if you'd come across them.
Back then I hadn't come across them. Even now when I speak to people, they still seem a little bit unsure as to what buyers agents are. They still think we sell real estate. Couldn't be further from the truth. I don't want to sell real estate. I just want to find good deals for people.
Just jumping back to that experience when you were back on your own, going to buy your first investment property, 2012. Did you feel quite vulnerable, thinking, no, I'm buying my first property, it's a lot of money, I'm assuming you weren't paying cash, so a lot of financial commitments over a period of time?
Definitely wasn't buying cash, and definitely felt a little bit vulnerable. All those savings you spent all those years collecting in the bank and the minimal interest you earn. So it was a big deal back then. But looking back on it now, fantastic decision, great decision to be able to do that and really help accelerate, your wealth generation and growth for yourself, your family, other people you want to help. So
yeah, it's awesome. And I opened up at the beginning just talking about seeing you online, and you're obviously very busy, a lot of activity. Seems like you're getting a lot of good deal flow, getting a lot of coverage. I've been seeing some PR that you're doing, so you're getting out there, which is great. I wanted to also talk about effort, because we talked about effort just before we jumped on this, and effort's an interesting one because it's the only thing that we can control. Have you found just the whole notion of effort in relation to starting your journey running your new buyer's agent business?
I think just in general business is difficult, right? So if you think about that it's going to be easy going in, you're probably kidding yourself a little bit. And because of that, your success is proportional to your effort. And I've just noticed myself, the more effort I put in, the more reward you're seeing coming back into the business. So effort is definitely a big thing, and it is really in your control. That's everything else, you know, outside markets and everything related to economics and property and governments. You can't control that. The only thing you can control is your effort and your ability to add value to people.
Yeah, it's true. And people are so focused right now with obviously what's going on globally, viruses and the rest. I think it's also, whilst it's a distraction, what a great time to now jump back in when people are so fearful staying at home, go buy property.
Well, right now there's minimal competition, right? So people don't want to go and look at property, they can't buy property. So if you're looking to buy, now's a good time to buy because you're not going to have the level of competition you had 4 or 6 weeks ago, really.
Yeah. Have you noticed your negotiation skills have sharpened a lot since you become a buyer's agent, running your own business, compared to when you weren't running a buyer's agent business, looking for property for yourself?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the relationship with the real estate agents. At the end of the day, they're just normal humans like us, and they've got families and everything to feed, and they just want to get a job done as well, and they want to get the best outcome for their vendor. And if you understand that and understand the personality of the real estate agent, then you'll be able to, I guess, hone your skills and you dictate your negotiation to suit them to get the best outcome that you want. So definitely, I think it's sharpened my negotiation skills. I continue to do so, but also it helps when you have that relationship with agents because they know who you are as a person, and it becomes less like negotiation and more about a conversation to get something done for both parties.
How important is the relationship with the real estate agent as part of not just negotiation, but what we do?
Super critical. It's without them, you're not going to find the deals. So, well, you may, but how many people sell their own home or sell their own investment property? Not many. So they're the guys that have the stock that you need for your clients, and so they are super critical to the whole process.
You know, I think a lot of buyers don't realise, you know, just how important, or not just buyers, people out there looking to buy property, how important that relationship is. Because it can be make or break when you're trying to get a deal done, right?
That's right, and we're talking to them every day. So, like I said, they're just normal humans and they want to get a deal done as much as we do, and you just got to find a way to do it, and that's what we do.
I think you broke a record when you became a buyer's agent and started your business. I think you bought a property in the north in around 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Am I a bit off?
No, yeah, that's it, right? Yeah, after I finished the course, I think it was 2 weeks, we signed a contract and exchanged on the contract. So it was surprising, a good surprise. I wasn't expecting that. Hopefully they continue to come through. Yeah,
which I'm sure they will. I mean, because I saw something after that, it was a while ago, but I saw like there was a video testimonial. Was that through them? Yeah. So how did you feel going through that process with representing a client, buying a property so quickly, and you know, just going through that experience with the client?
Yeah, so for that particular client, it was a principal place of residence. So for them, it was an emotional buy, not necessarily like an investment property where it's about the numbers. But the process itself, I felt good because I was buying a home for a family that had 2 kids that were very young, and they are going to be in there for the next 20 years or so. They're renovating at the moment, which is great. But I felt good because I knew I was doing the right thing for them and representing these guys who wanted a new home for their family.
There's a lot of emotion, obviously, in owner-occupier purchasing and going through that process for the buyer. I think there's a lot of emotion that goes into investing as well. People think it's commercial, but I think there's objectives we're all looking to achieve, financial freedom, etc. So there's emotion attached to that as well. But from my experience as well, going through that journey with the client looking to buy for owner-occupier reasons, it's a very different feeling as an outcome as opposed to buying for an investor. There's just I feel like there's a lot more joy and happiness, and it's a great time to really bond deeper with your clients as well, right?
I think when you've bought for an owner-occupier, the feeling of relief that they get when they've signed the contract, because they've been so stressed throughout the whole process. They may have been looking for 6 months, every weekend, had arguments between each other, disagreed about what they want. And when you go through that whole process with them, it's fantastic when you get that done. So it's definitely, I think it's more emotionally draining to buy for owner occupiers. For investors, it is still emotional, like you said, but I think they've got a bit more of a long-term view with buying property as opposed to, I'm going to live in this house for the next 20 years, so it needs to be perfect.
Yeah, they're definitely different objectives. So right now you're running a nationwide business in terms of investment.
Yep.
You're buying for owner-occupiers in Sydney.
Yep.
And how have you felt, like obviously getting into being a new business owner, as you said earlier, like it's hard work and there's a lot of challenges, there's rewards. How's the experience been for you?
It's been up and down. It's been up and down, to be honest. But when you're working for something for yourself, and you know that it's bigger than you, like everything we're doing now is really for us, for my family, future generations. So it is a roller coaster, but when you have a passion for property and people, it doesn't become like a job. You just feel good about finding and helping people through property, and that's what we love to do. So,
and it's fun, isn't it?
I think it's fun. I mean, I love going to open homes, talking to agents. Some people absolutely hate it, but that's part of the process.
Well, that's what we do, right? Like a lot of people, they're engaging us because they don't want to talk to agents, some of them. They're sick of going to opens, time poor, concerned about overpaying, all that stuff. And we fill that void for them.
Yeah.
So as a buyer's agent, you have to want to go see properties and do a lot of that work and that grunt work that buyers don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly right. At the end of the day, you're representing the buyer. They're effectively employing you to do a job, and you need to be able to do that job to the best of your ability to add value to them. And that value can be, like you said, different for every person. It might be they don't have the time. They might know everything, they just don't have the time. They're just outsourcing it for you to do. Or they just don't know what to do, and so you help guide them through that process. So it's different for everyone, but you can add value in various ways.
What have you noticed since becoming obviously a new business owner, entrepreneur, getting into this space, specifically it's such a niche space, the buyer's agent space? What have you noticed just around the industry or anything that you've observed that?
I've noticed people still don't understand what buyer's agents actually do. They get confused between buyer's agents, property advisor, real estate agents, mortgage broker sometimes as well. So that upfront conversation is very important. I've noticed specifically in Sydney towards the back end of last year and the start of this year, stock is very, very low. And there's a lot of competition. RBA are cutting interest rates as well. So money's getting easier to buy effectively. But over the last 2 weeks with this, coronavirus going around, I don't know, it's a bit funny. It's uncharted territory, so. Yeah.
Do you see it as, like, you obviously an astute investor, business owner in this space, do you see it as an opportunity?
Definitely, less competition means opportunity. So long term, obviously. And when you're investing in property, you got to have a long-term view, I believe, unless you're doing developments or renos to flip. But it's all about the long term, and I think there's great opportunity now. Like I said, money is very cheap to buy, so yes. Leverage is your friend in property. Unlike some other assets like stocks, you could probably still leverage a lot of money, but yeah, there's a lot of volatility.
If the share price is still there, you can maybe get it out.
It's going like that at the moment.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So maybe there's not a lot to get out. And in terms of the investment side of your business, are you following a similar strategy that you did for yourself? Is it?
I am for those people that I find that were in the same position I was. Yeah. But everybody's in a different position. So some people have a lot of capital behind them, so they can afford to buy different types of properties. Some people don't. So they need a different strategy, positive cash flow. Some people can afford negatively geared properties with better potential growth. And some people can afford to do developments, which is a fantastic thing. But I think it's just different for everybody because everyone's in a different part of their journey, really, in their investing career.
Yeah, it's good. So from what I'm hearing, you apply a specific strategy to that person or people around what their needs and wants are, as opposed to, I know some buyers agents have just one vanilla strategy that they deploy.
Definitely don't have a one strategy. One size doesn't fit all with what we do. So you need to have a specific strategy for each individual client, couple, person, whatever it may be.
As we all know, most businesses it's all about, I think, you know, you have to, in my opinion, in this day and age, have a good product or service. If you're selling a product or you're providing a service like you do, it needs to be good. Otherwise, you just don't survive. Like just with social media and just testimonials being so transparent, etc., that it's hard to last by providing a crap service. Have you been noticing the importance of like sales and marketing in your new business?
100%. If nobody knows about you, then how are they going to buy from you? So social media is massive now. All social media is a way for people to get them to talk about you.
Yeah.
So you need to show people what value you're adding to their life, to their investing careers. But social's so important. If you weren't on socials, I think I wouldn't say it's impossible to survive, but it'd be very difficult, I think. I know some like solicitors and so on that they don't have socials. Obviously they've come through the era where social media wasn't a thing, but and they've, you know, stood the test of time. But I think it'd be very difficult now. There's just so much noise out there, and sometimes whoever screams the loudest gets heard. Yeah,
it's true. It's true, and it's very important now to be online. I mean, I know some buyers agents who aren't online who do very well. I think you've got to do what works for you. In my opinion, I believe by having a presence online, you can reach more people.
Yeah, definitely. If we're sitting here, you and I talking one-on-one, if I put something on Facebook or Instagram, I could be talking to 10 people. And if those 10 people share it or tell someone else, there's another 10 people, there's 20. I think it's really, again, leverage. That's what really you get from social media. So yeah, super important.
What do you do in your downtime? You mentioned you've got a kid on the way, you know, you've got a busy work life, the up and down roller coasters of the entrepreneur journey, family, etc. So what do you do downtime to chill?
Downtime, scroll through realestate.com.
You're going to be a good buyer's agent.
Yeah, no, absolutely love it. But, you know, other things opposed to real estate, like you said, got a first child on the way. So I've been busy recently, attending to the wife, making sure she's okay, appointments with, you know, doctors and midwives and so on, and getting ready for the baby. But other than that, just, you know, having coffees with friends, watching a bit of TV, usually reno shows, and that's about it. Head down to the Maroubra Beach, which is fantastic. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Nice. And it's usually signs like when you're spending time on scrolling real estate domain, etc. You're watching property shows. It's usually a sign that you like property, and you know, I think for people like you who then transition into this as a career, as we said earlier, it doesn't feel like work. It's fun.
Oh, I don't think you can do it if you just like it. I think you got to love it.
Yeah.
I know it's cliche, but you kind of have to, because there's so many ups and downs, and that passion is probably just going to keep you going.
We're going to finish up now, and I just wanted to check with you where people can best find you. I know you're on a few different platforms. You've got a website, but where is good for people to see you?
They can connect with me on Facebook or LinkedIn. Otherwise, they can send me an email, peter@elite1.com.au. Just get in touch with me or give me a call, and yeah, we can have a chat.
Cool. And no, I appreciate you being here, and I've seen you obviously transpire your journey, and I think it's awesome to see what you've done. And I know it's hard with juggling so many different things, and I'm just excited to see what you're going to do 2020. And I know it's hard work, and as you said, it's up and down, and that's the entrepreneur journey. And I think we all just have to be diligent and disciplined and stay consistent with our activities, with what we need to do, and it all works itself out.
Appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thanks so much. For everyone listening, Peter's awesome, running a really successful business based in Sydney, as I said earlier, and he said he's buying nationwide investment, but also buying own a rock in Sydney as well. So check him out. Details on the screen now. See you next week.